Somebody,
I'm a
hey.
follower.
Oh, I gotta stop clowning like this.
I know. Hello, everyone.
What is wrong with me? Hello, everybody.
Welcome to
Hello.
our SoundMind Panel.
Oh,
We have one more,
I
right?
know, right? Can you
God,
believe?
but
Wait,
Wow.
Thanksgiving is 2 weeks away.
Oh, don't
Thanksgiving
say that.
I'm like,
literally
when did that
2
happen?
weeks away.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my.
Really? That
We
went
go,
too fast.
right? We're gonna all go to Dr. Hudson's house for dinner.
You can, but I'll be at 10.
We'll have McDonald's on the porch for us.
There you go.
I ain't mad at it.
I
Look,
don't think you're gonna have that.
I
I'm
don't
going
stress
to
about nothing. Christmas, Thanksgiving, I'm like, whatever.
no,
I'm like, bro, man, whatever. Can I get a ham sandwich?
My pig.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
It
gosh.
is what
So
it
welcome
is.
everybody. So we are like laughing and joking
I
about
know, right?
holidays coming around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And today we're talking about self-care and managing stress over the holidays. And so we want to, as you're coming on in, don't forget to use the comment section to ask your questions, to participate. We're not here to have a monologue just with each other. So we
Right.
want to have a dialogue with everybody. So come on into the room, come and join the community as we are sharing our understanding, our experiences, and hopefully be a great assistance to all of you that are listening this evening. Hi, Claire. Hi, Kife. Welcome. As you're joining in, please do shares. We're talking about managing stress for the holidays, which we just had like a panel a little while ago, like you got 4 months left, and it feels like it just blew by.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
It
We
really
were putting up
does.
Christmas decorations, all that
Yep.
stuff down. I'm like, we went from, I guess, skip from Halloween right to Christmas.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. That's exactly
Mhm.
what it felt like.
Yeah.
And can't we include Thanksgiving? Because right now it's all they're talking about is Christmas. Thanks. It's just like I don't hear much about Thanksgiving.
No, not anymore. They trying to get that money back. Commercialism,
Yeah,
you know.
that's it. That's it. Go out and spend that money. Go get that TV.
Yeah, go get it. It's
Go
coming
get
up.
that TV. Yep.
So the countdown has begun, and as we know, many people, as we get towards like the end of the year, start talking about resolutions and goal setting and all those things. And then on top of that, we just have the holidays and the spending, the stress, grief, and loss that a lot of people are experiencing. And so we're very sensitive to the needs that come up for individuals during this time of the year. So today we're just going to talk about like self-care and management of stress and how to best navigate any challenges that many people experience during the holidays. So as we know, for many, this is like a super joyous occasion. We look forward to it, all year long for many people. But there is a great segment of individuals who this time of the year, they just can't wait for it to be done and over with. Like as soon as they hear the first Christmas song, as soon as we start talking about holidays, they're done, over it. And for various reasons, whether it's, I think specifically for people who have struggled with grief and loss, this is a very tender time of the year for many. And for others, it's finances and people pleasing, like wanting to meet everybody's expectations and feeling guilty or shameful for not being able to do what you would like to do for people during the holidays. For some, it's just they don't like it.
I know. Some people just don't like the hustle and bustle and the feeling stress. For me, can I be honest? When I started feeling stressful about having to go buy gifts, I had to check myself. Like, I am not supposed to be feeling this much stress.
Yeah.
And I checked myself in, and people call me Scrooge, but I'm like, nowhere is it written that I got to get everybody a gift to get me a gift. I'm so over it.
Yeah.
So over it. And I think that adds, that expectation adds to our stress.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think it's the expectation. And once again, I go back to comparison. We look at other people's lives.
Yeah.
the Hallmark movies on. You got all these beautiful commercials on, and the houses are beautifully decorated. You got the big turkey on the table, and everybody's sitting there in red striped turtlenecks.
Look, and all the families getting along.
Everybody's getting along.
Come on now, you don't like everybody in your family. Stop.
And we still compare. Mine's not like that. No, most people's aren't like that. That's why it's on TV.
Right.
So yeah, I think we just have to find a balance, and it goes back to finding. First of all, for me, remember what the true meaning of Christmas is.
That's what it was for me.
And it's not about the gifts. It really is just about spending time together with loved ones, but also spending time just by yourself sometimes, and just celebrating Christ. And for me, Christmas always signals the ending of a year because we're heading into the new year.
Yeah,
so it's a time of introspection for me. It's nice to do all the Christmas, but it really is a time to say, okay, where am I, God? How was I used? How was I supposed to be used? What's coming up for the new year? So it's not about the glitz and glamour and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Yeah, and I would like all of us to maybe think of like one thing that you can share with others of ways to navigate the holidays. So for me, one of my suggestions when it comes to managing stress is to manage your expectatations. So, like for me, in the spirit of transparency, like you were talking about, Deacon LeBou, like seeing all these gorgeous homes with these huge, like 50-foot Christmas trees, and everything's so nicely decorated, and it makes you be like, oh, I send pictures to my mom all the time, like I wish I had that, but then coming back to earth on like what's most important and prioritizing, and just thinking about being grateful for what you have.
That's
and
it.
Just investing into yourself and thinking about what's most important to you and being grateful for what you have. So for my suggestion would be manage expectations, like not going overboard, do what you can with what you have, be appreciative of what you have around you, even if it doesn't look like everybody else's life look, and find a way to enjoy what you have with who you have it with.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because while some people are looking for gifts and, I want to get this and I want to give that, some people just are feeling grateful at the fact that they still have somebody in their life that they can celebrate with, So I think it's different for everybody. But I think you're right. You just got to manage your expectation and manage your thoughts. And I always say this, to prepare. If this time of the year is stressful for you, or is when you tend to get sad, rather than just falling into that slump, prepare for, okay, it's coming. How am I going to manage my emotions so that I don't fall into that slump like I do every year?
I love it. So manage expectations, prepare ahead of time. Deacon LeBou, Pastor Hudson.
Yeah, I just happened to see, I guess last week, we did this last year about preparing for the holidays. I think it was like 4 things that I talked about in how to manage stress. And one of them, I think, was avoiding your triggers. Making an escape. I think we go through the year, we go through our lives. And we know, okay, if I get in this situation, it's not going to be good. We can process through there, but that sometimes gets heightened during the holidays. And it's okay to, I always say, make a way of escape.
Yeah.
Which means if the situation starts to trigger or it gets too intense, you know what? Excuse me, I'll be right back. Whatever. Now, I did say in the video, this is not a time to leave your kids in the house for like 4 or 5 hours and come back late. I'm not saying that, but just find a way of escape where you can sort of press your own reset button and decide on what that looks like. So identify, figure out what your triggers are, and then make a way of escape from those triggers. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Yep.
Right. And I think I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Hudson.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and understanding that people don't have to understand why you do what you do. So I think I don't know if that's peer pressure or whatever it is, but if that's what you want to do and that's what's going to make you help navigate the season, forget about what everybody else thinks. You do what is is good for you. I think sometimes we're looking for everybody to agree or people to agree with our decision to do X, Y, and Z. And sometimes they don't, and that's okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, Pastor Val, because actually you just kind of tapped on what I was just thinking. I'm just saying it a different way. Understanding my why of
Mm.
giving,
Mm-hmm.
my why of giving, and I think what has helped me more and more each year is to not try to get everybody to understand how I celebrate Christmas, because my Christian community should understand. The world, they're the ones that are gonna, compare and this and that. And like you said, they might get a little upset if you don't give them what they want or anything at all. But I just think it's just that time to understand too. Christmas means something different generationally.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, you know, for the most part, our generation minus Reverend T, she's still in that.
Not anymore.
God bless you. Hold on to it as long as you can. You do, but Pastor Val and Deacon LeBoux, we can understand that, as you're blessed to get older, what you look at and appreciate changes.
Yep.
But we do remember when we weren't at this stage and we were in maybe our mid-adult years or our young adult years.
Yeah.
So that gifting piece takes on a different aspect of what you want, what you're going to get. When you're in your 20s, you like going to the malls or ordering, especially getting, I know the ladies are getting with the ladies. Guys aren't really groupie like that, but we talk about stuff. So it's not like we're not in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to take the stress off of Christmas this year in particular, we got to look around us.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got to look around this globe, and
Yes.
we got to stop, pause, and drop, and understand. We're a sneeze from World War III.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Violence everywhere is up.
Yep.
And as for the bereavement, and we're getting ready to do, if not now, very early in January, a follow-up bereavement. And we do it under the banner of From Lost to Legacy. So now it's going to be, what is your legacy starting to look like? And start to get people who we've ministered to in some area of bereavement before, and try to help them see some things that they might not see, because some people choose to stay in a particular spot of grieving and things of that nature. But if you can just also, with that empty chair on the table, and especially Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
just don't hide them. Talk about them.
Yeah.
Celebrate them. I'll talk about my crazy uncle. I'll talk about my dad and other things like that. And before long, you realize that all of a sudden there's just this togetherness vibe, and it's not the joy is double when we're together, and it's happened when we share it. So that's something for Christmas that we want to look forward to. And I think now everybody more and more is starting to understand that you better enjoy every 24 hours of a day.
Yep. That's it.
You don't have to be anything to check in the morning and check out by noon.
That's
a reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's for real.
Yeah.
And sometimes this is hard. I'm reflecting back when my kids were small. Sometimes it's hard to pass this on to children, because they just want the toys.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. And you got to give them the toys.
Got to give them the toys. Absolutely.
With the message.
Yep. And one of the things I might have mentioned before, when I said it's a time for introspection for me, but it's often a time for introspection for my children as well. And even growing up, there's something called the Heifer Foundation, where we get a catalog every year, and you can pay $5 towards like a gaggle of geese for a family. So I'm like, get your $5, and we're going to send it off. So they realized that Christmas was just not about receiving, but giving as well.
Right.
And you're right. I mean, kids want toys, and they want, and that's okay, because they're kids, and they're kids, but you also want them to realize how blessed they are, and learn to give back. But I will echo what you said in terms of getting through the holidays and celebrating those people who aren't here and things like that. I think part of the bond, and I call it the bondage of grief, is that we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. I don't want to get someone upset, or I don't want to do it. But that's bondage. It is.
And
I'm sorry, Dr. Hudson, when you talk about it, there's a relief that almost
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think when you talk about it, you realize you're not the only one feeling the way you're feeling. You know how when we're going through something and we're feeling something, we think nobody else in the world feels this way. And I think when you talk about it and realize that the person sitting next to you or whatever kind of has similar feelings, you're like, okay, so I'm not crazy. Okay, so this is normal. But it's, just keeping it all bottled up inside never serves us well.
Absolutely, especially when we like at this time of the year when you're kind of anticipating something that you typically feel during this time of the year. That we do this Christmas or Thanksgiving is coming, and we have these automatic thoughts that we're supposed to be sad. We're supposed to go into this bubble of grief and turmoil emotionally, instead of doing like Reverend P said, right? Like make sure you prepare ahead of time. So if you know that yearly you go through this rut, then seek help, seek support, reach out to your support system, start talking to family about like, listen, Pop's not here this year. We need to do something different. Like I do want to go through another Thanksgiving with the same routine.
Exactly.
Not working, and we're all miserable, and we're all crying over the turkey this year. Like we need to figure something out. And I have clients who decided, because grief is so rough for them, that this will be the first year that they take a trip for the holiday.
There you go.
Instead of being in the same home where their loved one was, and they are not ready for that yet, they decided to do a Thanksgiving trip with the family, and it for some reason brings them comfort. And I feel like fine, like preparing and knowing that you need something and asking for help, I think is super important to getting past some of the stresses, especially grief, that we all experience during this time of the year.
I think
good. Go ahead, Val.
I just think it's hard for people that are strong to ask for help.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And we kind of have to break through that, because everybody needs help at some point in their life. When you're independent, you're used to doing things on your own, and these are my feelings, it's hard to ask for help. But there are people that really care about you and care about how you're feeling, and that can help you. Sometimes just a conversation. Just a conversation can be beneficial.
And also in that realm there, you got to have that person or a couple of people. It's not a whole lot. We know that.
Right. Yeah.
That you can afford to be transparent. You don't have to worry about anything else. Now, for me, I think I've shared with you before that my mother passed away in November 1978 when I was 19 years old. That's 45 years ago.
Wow.
It was only up till about maybe 10 years ago that every November 17th, I might not say anything. People knew that whole day I was different. Those closer to me picked up on it quicker. And Dick and LeBou, you just said something I think that helps throughout the holiday. Why not turn into your creative mode? Like you said, went on a vacation. Doesn't have to be extravagant. Or what about plant a tree?
Something creative.
Plant a tree. So this year we're going to plant a family tree. We always talk about, and this physical tree, from the day it's planted, it's going to represent the generations and generations going forward. Now, what you can do, depending on where you are, obviously, around Christmas, you can always put maybe some decorations or ornaments just to bring the creativity. But I think we get caught in the same rut. You know what I'm saying? But if we do something different, or just have a day where you have, family and friends, it sounds, I used to always joke about this, and I haven't done it. I would always invite people to my cookout in January. January. And at first they say, "Oh, I'm in. I want you to come out. I'm in. Tell me when." They said, "Gonna be January." January. But you know what? I'm serious. I'm thinking about doing that thing this year.
Yeah, go for it.
That's what. Hey, I'm all.
That's creative for real.
Yeah,
seriously.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's crazy. Yes, it's this. Yes, it's that. But it's something that helps in that season, and not only for yourself.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
Right.
And it breaks that pattern. It breaks
That's it. That's what it's all about.
So doing something like a cookout in January, which I'm not sure I would do.
I was gonna say, y'all coming? I'm looking.
Look, hey, you cook the food outside and we eat inside, though, right?
Yeah.
I got questions. As long as we can eat inside, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's gonna cook out.
but do something to break the pattern, and
And that's what I'm saying.
Just do something. You know, you do. I mean, and it doesn't have to make sense to anybody but you.
Yep.
It really doesn't. It doesn't. So I love
that's going to help you.
Yep.
Yeah. And I see. Okay. The handle is Bubba Juice Lane. I'm sure that's not the name, but I don't. Okay. So it's saying. Do you think a lot of feelings during grieving is guilt that the person is no longer with us? So it's a question in the comments. I kind of want to like take a very I'm going to look everybody in the eye real quick and just say that people are allowed to feel how they feel. That when it comes to grief, that I think sometimes we all have different and mixed emotions. And if somebody is struggling with do you think this is guilt? I'm like, is it? Because I feel like those are things that's important for us to acknowledge how we're feeling, because the feelings with grief they're so different for everybody. It depends on the loss. Depends on how someone experiences the relationship with the person. And so I think that whatever, and this is just me, right? My perspective of it is that if it is, how do we address that, right? Especially around the holidays, is first acknowledge how you're feeling, and that your feelings are valid, and that no one else can understand what someone's process of grief is. And if some people are struggling with survival's remorse and guilt and loneliness and anger, and sometimes the grief is very traumatic, and so I think it's important that we acknowledge how we're feeling, and then talk to someone and find support for that, so we can break the pattern, like Stephen LeBou said, and find productive ways to deal with grief and do it however you need to do it. I feel like there's no right or wrong way to go through the grieving process.
I think our feelings are always looking for a scapegoat.
Yep.
And I think the thing, and you just said it, Reverend T, if you feel that way, and I like the way you said it, everybody should be free to grieve the way they grieve. It's not a textbook. But what I know in my situation, what it was really because I never really talked about it enough. I thought to the point I thought I did. I thought I could handle it. But then, boom. Now, believe it or not, the grief that I deal with the most is my father's passing. And what I would do at times, because I would go up to the cemetery that he's buried, we called it on the 5th floor, in a vault on the side of the wall. And I would pull the car up to the side and take a chair out, get something to read, turn my music on, and sit there for about an hour and a half. Now that works for me. It may not be different for you. So we got to stop penalizing ourselves
for how you feel.
Yeah.
And I will say that there was a time, and I lost somebody key in my family years ago. And while most people, when they lose a loved one, they're grieving the relationship they had, I was grieving the relationship I didn't have. So I had to come to terms with the fact that I'm grieving in a different way because I didn't have that relationship. And I remember actually saying, okay, if this person passes away, I'm not going to miss them. So when I had all of these feelings, I didn't know what to do with them. Like, well, I'm not going this way. I was really grieving the relationship that I didn't have. So that's a reality. Sometimes somebody, your mom passes away or whatever, you're like, I wish I had done better with that. But it's okay, like Reverend T said, to just acknowledge all of those feelings because they're yours.
And don't replace shopping with your emotions.
And I feel like
you start to buy,
This is especially hard for those individuals who always are like, they label themselves as the one that's always there for other people.
Yeah.
And, you know, they take care of everybody else, and they show up for everybody else. And I think it's especially important for those individuals. It's important for everybody, but especially those individuals, because we tend to suppress more of what we're feeling. We want to placate and make sure everybody else is taken care of, instead of making sure that we're taking care of what we are really experiencing. And I think it's very, very important that, especially around the holidays, to avoid burnout or depression or anxiety attacks and things like that, or just shutting down, that you acknowledge what you're feeling and set some boundaries. You know, you don't have to do everything for everybody.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, to say, you know what, it's a no for me. I'm staying home. You know, I can't wait for 1 year, y'all. I'm gonna be like, I ain't going to nobody's house.
Look, I'm staying home and I'm eating a Wawa pizza.
And also, if you have this gifting, if you just simply have this gifting issue, I've done some things too. I'll get it in January, especially if I'm not going to see you in December.
Right.
Myself.
Right.
Not to push myself. You know, I mean, there are ways of just accomplishing things, but not like you say. I mean, don't take part of your mortgage or your rent because you want to fulfill.
That's the part I don't get.
Right.
Yeah. I don't get that.
Right. But I was thinking that the whole guilt thing sometimes, I mean, and Pastor T, you were talking about always making sure everybody's okay and trying to do, we take care of everybody. I say it almost every meeting. Hi, I'm Deacon LeBou and I'm a fixer.
Right. You see that big ass on my chest?
I like to fix things. So if something's broken, I'm going to fix it. And that means trying to make sure everybody's okay. And some of that guilt comes from realizing that you're really not in control.
No.
Yeah.
When you find that out, it's like a slap in the face. Like, I can't control this. But it's not control.
There's certain things you just can't fix.
No, Deacon LeBou, we put so much pressure on ourselves.
So much
undue pressure on ourselves.
Yeah. And maybe you're not supposed to fix it.
No. Right. That's
and
a hard
sometimes
lesson.
when we try to come in and scoop up everything and fix everything, we're not allowing God to use the process he needs for that individual.
Absolutely.
So we're really not helping them, we're hurting them. And we don't even know it. We're trying to fix everything.
I say all the time, why would I get in the middle of somebody else's journey? God has a journey.
Tonight.
Send that cash app too. No, I'm kidding. No, but that's the truth. That is the truth. Sometimes you got to know I guess what we're all saying is everybody is not your assignment.
Nope.
Right.
Tiffany's stupid. Everybody's not your assignment.
And don't bring them to me.
There you go.
And you add no value, right? You add no value to the person doing everything for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's okay to say no and not feel guilty for it. Like Pastor P said, like just say no, set some boundaries, do what you can, and don't burn yourself out over this holiday season trying to be all things to everybody, even the kids, them little
She felt that one. No. She felt it. I can tell.
That's true. Yeah.
They don't need everything. Okay.
No, that's the truth, though. That's the truth.
You know,
you give them on 100 kids, and they go and 100 toys, and they're going to play with that one toy all year long.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right there.
This is what you get, and that's it.
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
Yes, Patricia. We don't need to be everybody's savior, and sometimes we have to set some limits this year.
Absolutely.
Pastor, like you said, the world is changing. There are other priorities that people have. Finances across the globe, people are struggling and trying to keep afloat with the recession and price gouging and all kinds of stuff. So, I think it's important that we are mindful of what we need, what's going on in our own households, ask for help when you need it, set some boundaries and limitations, and then try to enjoy, and prioritize where you can.
Yeah.
You guys, does anybody have like a final comment before we hop on?
I'll just say this real quick. This is fun. like you said so well, you know, don't borrow the ass off of somebody else's chest. I mean, like you said, you can't be all things to everybody. And I think also, which is a passion for me now for about the last year, but definitely during this time of year is, although we're looking at holidays and other significant moments in life, we really got to keep people focused.
Yeah.
Where are you going when you leave here?
Yeah.
You know, and this assumption, and I'm talking about within the household of faith. I'm not talking about those in the world.
Yes.
You know, it's assumption. You can't say, well, you know, I'm going to get it. I'll get it. If you can control the clock, you can get it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, maybe encourage somebody. Hey, you know, I see your health is doing better, or whatever. You know, just those things that speak to the mind, the body, the spirit, the soul, and you know, go from there.
Go from there. Yeah. Anybody else? Final
That's
comment?
good stuff.
That's a good. That's a good way to end right there. Right there. That handles it all.
Yeah, that was the benediction.
Yeah, well, thank you. We'll see you next month for our SoundMind panel. It's our final one for the year. So please make sure that you share this with someone who you know may need it. Reach out to the counseling center too if you need some support during this time of the year, especially for grief, and contact the church too if you need to talk to Bishop or Pastor Nick first, you know, and then know that you're not alone and you have support when you need it. So reach out. And we will see everybody next month for our next one, okay?
Yep. Have a good night, everybody. All right. Take care.